break, we heard from bariatric surgeon Dr. Clifton Thomas. Last spring, his patient Brad weighed 318 pounds. A year ago, Julie weighed in at 215 pounds. So what was the tipping point for them to realize they couldn't do it simply through diet and exercise? Please welcome them to the show. And of course, we're back again with Dr. Thomas. So a lot of us start that journey with the, why don't you just, exercise and eat right. Exercise and eat right, because that takes care of it all, right? But easier said than done. Much easier said than done.
You try every diet in the world. You exercise. When you have a busy lifestyle, you have kids, you just can't find the time to exercise. And like I said, when you do, the Weight Watchers, the Slim Fast, you do all these diets and they get you down so far and then you rebound, and it's a constant fight.
Yeah, and it may work for some people, but when you hear the stories of how it worked for someone else and didn't work for you, then it puts you in this downward spiral. How depressing was that when you'd fail at the diet?
Extremely depressing. Constantly, I had prescription, even diet pills that I took, and I would lose weight but constantly gain the weight back. I couldn't consistently keep it off, so it was very depressing.
Yeah, and Dr. Thomas, when you hear about like the prescription diet pills or certain diet plans, the problem with those is that you can't do those for the rest of your life.
Well, there's not a medical study anywhere in the world that shows that people can lose outside of weight loss surgery somewhere around 50 to 100 pounds and keep it off long term. So that tells you something. We all think we can do it, but there's not much evidence out there. And certainly there are people that can do it, but there's not much evidence that you can accomplish that. So we blame ourselves, and that blame really kind of works against us.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that's really important about your practice is that you don't just do the surgery and send them along the merry way. There's a lot of work that goes into figuring out how you gain this weight and how to keep that weight off.
That's right. I think it's very important to kind of figure out what really drove this patient into my office to think about weight loss surgery and kind of get into that, because that's going to help us long-term figure out how to help them follow some eating habits that they need for long-term success.
Yeah, so you said one of the reasons why you decided to do this is you wanted to see your kids grow up.
Yes.
And
yes.
So when did that point go off in your head that you said, look, because most of your family, they're small, right?
By and large, most of my family are small, but...
by and large, no pun intended. Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what the day was, but I realized that, 10 years down the road, I'm going to be having heart surgery if I don't do something about my weight now.
Right.
I already had started having problems with my blood sugars, already on blood pressure medication. Yeah. So it just became a deal of, if I want to see my kids grow up, if I want to see my grandkids, then I've got to do something now.
It's a slow march to death is what you really saw.
Right, or in my case, it was pretty rapid, I think. And so, that's when I decided, this isn't about being skinny for me. This is about being healthy for me. And so that's when I changed my life.
You have something in your hand there.
These are my scrubs. I'm a nurse by trade, and so these are the scrubs that I was wearing right before I had my surgery. And you can see that they are quite large. That's actually my initials, so you can tell these are my scrubs.
Yeah.
But it has been a life-changing experience.
We were talking earlier in the commercial break, such a life-changing experience that you still, buying clothes is hard for you because you're still not used to this new body you have.
I think that's hard for anyone who has gone through losing that kind of weight.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment, and it's hard to make that change because you have a mindset. And you walk by the mirror sometimes, you think, oh my God, who is that guy? And you realize it's you.
Who's that good looking guy?
And a lot of times you get in those habits of buying those clothes that are too big.
Yeah.
Just because it's comfortable and you know who it is. So.
Your tipping point?
Mine was also health. When I was out of breath to bend over and tie my shoe, I knew it was time to do something. Again,
the stories that you tell in the book of how those little things like that, not being able to tie your shoes. So let's take a look at your jeans. The old jeans.
The old jeans.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Thomas, there are different types of bariatric surgery. The lap band, there's the sleeve, which is, I think, probably one of the newer ones since bariatric surgery first came out. What is the gastric sleeve, which both of these patients had?
So I've been doing weight loss surgery for 11 years and do the bypass band and the sleeve. Earlier in my career, bypass was probably 60% of what I did, and then the band came along and it kind of shifted. But for about the last year or so, 2 years, the sleeve is really about 90% of what I do because it really gives us seems like all the benefits of the gastric bypass without the complexity. And the lap band, it's much more challenging to lose the weight and keep it off the lap band. The failure rate in my mind is probably around 40%. So 60% are successful with it, which is really good. But we can actually often do better with the sleeve. And we've found it to be a very good operation. The reason why it works so well is because we get these chemical changes in our body that affect our glucose metabolism. Frankly, sweets are sweeter, salts are saltier than not a surgery, just because of these massive chemical changes.
Yeah.
And that helps it work as a tool,
Oftentimes
which is
people
what
who
it
have type
is.
2 diabetes, after having the surgery, that goes away.
Often not a surgery, they're off medication.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and you talk about those chemical changes. You had a taste for cigarettes and sweets and things, and now that's gone. You're
It's
not
gone.
a smoker anymore?
I haven't smoked since the day of surgery. And I don't crave it, don't want it.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like it forces your body to be healthier, and because the reaction in the body is different to good things now.
Well, the interesting thing is we think it's all in the mind, but we really have a lot of chemicals driving our behavior in our body. And this operation, as a tool, helps in some degree change that.
Yeah. So with the sleeve, so what basically is happening with the bariatric surgery is that your stomach can only hold so much food, and if you have the taste for more nutrient-dense foods, you're not going to gain that weight you would if you were able to fill up on a carton of ice cream.
So all the operations I discussed make you fill up on a small amount of food, which is typically a child-sized plate of food. But the gastric bypass and the sleeve gastrectomy, you get these chemical changes that also help you.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
You two look great. Congratulations on getting your life back. By the way, everyone in our audience is going home with a copy of the book Skinny Jeans at Last. And just want to say that the cool thing about this book is not just for somebody who is obese, it's for all of us. It's just a better way of eating for anybody. And Dr. Thomas also has a special offer through his website. And what is that offer?
Well, you can go to my website and go to cliftonthomas.com/schedule and schedule an appointment and come in and meet me and learn more about your weight loss surgery options and whether it's the right thing for you or not. And get a copy of the book.
All right. And to find more on that special offer, as he said, to CliftonThomasMD.com. Dr. Thomas has tons of information about all the surgeries he offers. Plus, you will find more success stories like Brad and Julie's that can help you make some life-saving decisions. You can also call the office. That number is 713-936-0777, 713-936-0777. Up next, after her second child, this mom tried to get her body back in shape, but found some real stubborn areas. Find out how Tarina got her groove back when we come.